Hi everyone, my name is Tess. I'm a company artist with Smuin Contemporary Ballet, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to make a fabric mask. So I've got two pieces here of my outer, they're cut mirror image, and then two pieces of the lining, and two pieces of kind of skinny elastic cut to 6 inches each. So I'm going to put the first outside pieces together, right sides together. So I like this side better than that side, so I'm gonna put both pieces together like this. Sew this seam a 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so I sewed down this side and it'll be like that. I'm going to pull this extra part, the seam allowance, to one side. I'm picking the left side, and I'm going to stitch that down from the outside just so it doesn't buckle too much and look weird on the front of your face. See, here we have, that's nice and fixed. And the inside is not going to flap around quite as much. I'm actually going to trim this extra bit off too. The excess, especially on the most curved part, because that's when we get those weird buckles that I don't like. And I'm just going to turn this bottom edge over twice, pretty small, and iron it. And then I'm gonna stitch that down because I like to leave the bottom of the mask open so that you could, if you wanted to, add a filter or a third layer just for a little bit more security filtration. I turned it over once and ironed that, and then I turned that over again just so the raw edge is enclosed, we don't get any fraying. So I've pinned this edge, and I'm gonna sew this from the right side, okay? Just because, so you're gonna see. I'm stitching pretty close to the edge, maybe about a 1/4 of an inch. I just want to make sure that I catch the fold. Going over that center seam, so I just slow down a little bit. Yeah, so I caught the whole thing. I caught the hem. Now that's pretty much what the front of our mask is going to look like. Okay, so now I'm going to do all those same steps with the lining fabric. Center seam is done. I'm going to push this side also to the left. You'll see why later, but and now I'm trimming it just the same as I did on the other piece on the outside. You could measure how much you're folding up and hemming, but I just eyeball it at this point. Okay, so just pinning that hem. And when you do this, make sure that when you fold up the hem, you're folding it onto the wrong side. Can you focus? Onto the wrong side of the fabric. Okay, so I've got my fold on the bottom on the wrong side, and then I've got that extra fabric on the wrong side as well. Okay, so that everything is smooth and clean on the outside. Now, we're gonna put the two pieces together, and we're gonna put them together right sides together. Okay, so you're only looking at the inside of the fabric right now. And this is why I like to press the seams to the same side, that center seam, because now since they're mirror images, the seam allowance on the lining is going this way, and the seam allowance on the outer is going that way. So I can butt that seam against each other and make sure that I have a night that they line up perfectly. And I'm just gonna sew from this corner here to that corner there. Okay, I'm not gonna do the sides yet because I'm gonna do the elastics when I do that. you have to open, so you have everything right sides together, so the wrong sides are facing you. You leave it like that. You open the little pita pocket, and then I press the elastic right up into the crease right there. So where the lining meets the outside, and I'm gonna sandwich that in right there, like this. Okay, so it's right at the top there, right next to the seam I just sewed, and I'm gonna pin one end there. I've lined up the end of the elastic with the end of my fabric. Okay, so you can't see it. And then I go through, and I'm gonna take this other end, trying to keep it flat, and place it right by the seam line, right by my stitches for my hem. I shouldn't have this thread here. Okay, so right here. Okay, I'm gonna pin that there, but I'm gonna sandwich it first between the lining and the outside. Okay. You could also sew this. You could sew it to one side first, and then put the pieces together, and then sew it. Yeah, you could attach the elastic to the one side, and then attach the top layer, the other layer, but I like to do it this way. It's a little faster. So when I turn this inside out, you have your ear loops, okay? And they're attached in, they're not sticking out on either side. This mask is actually reversible if you wanted it to be, because it's identical on both sides. And then I'm also going to trim the corners so that when I turn my mask right side out, they don't get too bunchy. They get my flat. I just use my fingers to really push these corners out, and then you can use the elastic to pull it a little tighter. See? Mask. All right, I hope everyone's staying safe and getting to dance a little bit. We know we're gonna have to dance in masks, so we're gonna need a lot of them. So they get sweaty in there. All right, thank you so much.